Let's look at how to just start a new document in InDesign. So I'm going to navigate up to File, and I can choose to make a new document, a new book, or a new library. As we are starting here, we're just going to deal with a new document. Eventually, we'll talk about a book and a library. If I have an existing InDesign document or file, I can choose File and Open. And our InDesign documents are .indd. Okay. We also have the .indl, which is a library, or an INDB, which is a book. So make sure it's a DD. I'm going to do File, New, and Document. So what will happen is I'll see this new document dialog box, very similar to what we see in other Adobe products. So I have some presets that of course I can choose, and I can save a preset. If there's something that I am quite often creating, I can save it as one of my presets here. I have my intent. Is this going to be for print? Is it going to be for web? Or is it a digital publishing? So you need to know your intent when you're starting. Number of pages. How many pages will my document have? If I don't know at the moment, leave it at 1 because we can always add pages. Facing pages means spread, how we have a left and a right page. So facing pages means there is a left and a right, and my document will be set up in that way. If I choose to turn it off, I will just have documents one page stacked in my pages panel. You can change these settings later, so don't panic if you're not quite sure when you're initially starting. Primary text box gives me a text box or a text frame to fill my entire page within my margins. I tend to not have that checked. Page size, again, if there's default sizes that I would like to use, I can custom. I can also just go ahead and start typing here. Now these are in a different unit of measurement, going from my preferences, my default preferences of units. So if I have no idea what 51p0 means, I can choose to say 5 and to IN, and it will know that that's 5 inches. Okay, and then my orientation, portrait or landscape, number of columns, gutter, which is the space between columns, my margins. Right now they're locked. If I click that, they will unlock so I can move these independently. And then bleed and slug, you may not see this as being open initially. So bleed and slug, bleed indicates areas that extend beyond the trim page, as that tooltip says. So if I'm going to send this to the printer with the intent he's going to trim the pages so my graphics go all the way up to the edge of the page, I would choose to bleed, usually around 1/8 of an inch. And slug is then beyond the bleed, and that's an area where I just give some information to my printer. I may include contact information, I may include something specific in dealing with the printing process. And because I have preview checked here, you noticed it's actually updating as I'm changing some of these right here in my preview. So I go ahead and click OK. And there's my new document. Again, my units are not in something that I quite understand. It's in picas, so I'm going to choose inches. And you can see that, yes, it is 5 inches. And the rulers do change independently, so I'm going to change them both. And I can see now that I have a 5 by 11 page. Now, when we're going to do a save, if I want to save this, I can do a save or save as. I haven't saved it yet, so my save will be my save as. If I'm working off of an existing document, I can go ahead and just save it. Options that we have when we save. So I can save this as a .indd, a template, or if you're planning to share this with someone who doesn't have the current updated version of InDesign, you can save it as a later file, and so they're able to open it. Remember that you can open older versions with the newer, but you can't open the newer version with an older. So just to remember that. And then of course, if we want to close our document, we use our little close box here or under File, and we use our close, Control W, exit or Control Q will close my entire InDesign software, which same as up here, my close box. So make sure that you're closing the correct thing.